everyone, welcome back to Film Rich. Today we're diving into The Punisher Season 1 Episode 8, which is titled Cold Steel. The episode digs into the roots of trauma and the lies that bind every character together. Billy Russo's past comes to light, Madani's trust shatters, and Frank Castle finds himself walking a razor's edge between vengeance and a connection. Before we get into this, I would like to remind everyone to please like, share and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get stuck into it. The episode opens in a cold, sterile hospital room. Billy Russo visits his mother, Carla, who lies unresponsive in her bed. Despite her abandoning him as a child, Russo continues to pay her medical bills, a twisted form of loyalty to someone who never showed him love. Sitting beside her, he talks about Frank Castle's return, once his best friend, now a threat to everything Russo's built. Russo admits he has too much to lose for Frank to stay alive. When Carla suddenly wakes up, she panics, terrified at the sight of him. Russo calmly injects her with a sedative. As she drifts back to sleep, he thanks her for the cruelty of his childhood, saying it made him the man he is. Then, with a quiet bitterness, he tells her, "I'd give you anything you ever wanted in this world if you ever wanted me." At the hideout, Micro and Frank Castle are monitoring surveillance footage when Micro spots something, a face from the past. He zooms in on a still from Castle's rifle scope and identifies William Rawlins, better known as Agent Orange, the CIA's director of covert operation. Micro panics. Looking him up online could put them on the CIA's radar, but Frank assures him Rawlins won't come after them. Since the Kentucky firefight and the Fort Bryan break-in were both off the books, Rawlins has too much to lose by drawing attention. Then, Micro notices something alarming. The camera feed from his home is down. Fear grips him. He orders Castle to go there immediately and make sure his family is safe. Meanwhile, Dinah Madani and Billy Russo are together, tangled in sheets and secrets. After sex, they talk about their scars, both visible and invisible. Russo opens up about his childhood in a group home. A volunteer once made advances toward him, and when Russo refused, the man broke his arm. Madani is shaken. She never knew Billy grew up in the system, but Russo brushes it off with a smirk, saying it made him stronger. Madani thanks him for opening up. Russo just leads in, confident and charming. "Just admit it, you like me." The line lands halfway between seduction and manipulation. Madani doesn't realize how deep his lies run. At the Lieberman house, Frank Castle arrives with flowers in hand. He claims it's just a friendly gesture, but really he's there to check in on the family. Sarah Lieberman explains that she's unplugged the router to punish her son Zach, not realizing that the disabled router cut off Micro's surveillance feed. Frank quietly plugs it back in, restoring the cameras and giving Micro eyes on his family again. Over a bottle of wine, Frank and Sarah talk. Their conversation turns soft. Two lonely souls, both haunted by loss. Sarah kisses him. For a moment he freezes, then gently pulls away. Later, Frank returns to the hideout where Micro, half drunk, he admits he saw the kiss, but instead of anger he shows understanding. "I don't blame either of you," he says, a rare honest moment between them. At Homeland Security, Madani briefs Sam Stein about a lead. Castle tried to buy ammunition from Jack DeLeon. Unbeknownst to them, Rawlins listens through the hidden bug in Madani's office. Later, Rawlins meets Russo to plan Castle's elimination. Russo hesitates. Interfering with Homeland Security could expose them both, but Rawlins insists that letting Frank live is the greater risk. Russo reminds him that after the failed Gunnar Henderson mission, his Anvil team is compromised. He'll need Rawlins' money to hire outside contractors. Rawlins agrees. The hit is on. Back at the hideout, Frank and Micro share drinks and swap stories about their wives. For a brief moment it feels almost normal, laughter echoing through their concrete bunker. Then Micro gets serious. He suggests they stop hiding and go to Madani, let Homeland bring Rawlins down illegally. But Frank refuses. Rawlins doesn't get to walk away, he says. He dies. The mood shifts fast. Micro explodes, calling Frank a war-addicted psychopath. He grabs a phone to call Madani. Frank stops him. Micro swings at him, but Frank easily knocks him out cold. The uneasy partnership fractures. At Homeland HQ, Madani and Stein know their office is bugged. They set a trap. They craft two operational plans, one real, one fake. Stein uploads the fake version into the system while Madani distributes the real one by hand. The goal? Lure whoever's listening straight into ambush. Meanwhile, Russo recruits a group of ex-Anvil mercenaries, men wanted for war crimes in Iraq. He offers them a deal. Kill Frank Castle and they'll be paid enough to buy freedom and new identities. They accept and the stage is set. Micro wakes up to find Frank waiting. The air between them is tense. Frank tells him straight he never wanted Sarah and going to Madani is still off the table. But then Sarah calls. She's found a knife in Zach's backpack and he fears her son's in trouble. Frank goes to the Lieberman household and confronts Zach using his own knife to scare the boy. Zach admits he's been angry and scared, wanting someone else to feel the pain he feels. Frank softens, he comforts the kid, then plays football with him outside. A rare glimpse of the man Frank used to be. But the peace doesn't last. He spots Micro watching from a distance. Furious, Frank confronts him, warning that his presence puts everyone in danger. Micro refuses to leave, insisting Zach needs his father. Frank finally agrees to speak to Madani, but for now he forces Micro to walk away. At an abandoned warehouse, Russo and his ex-Anvil team move in masked, heavily armed, expecting to kill Frank Castle. But inside, it's not Castle waiting, it's Madani and Stein, and a whole Homeland strike unit. The trap is sprung. Gunfire erupts in a brutal firefight. Homeland's agents fall one by one. Russo's team is wiped out. In the chaos, Stein corners one of the attackers and rips off his mask, revealing Billy Russo. Shocked, Stein hesitates and Russo drives a knife into him. Madani rushes in just as Russo escapes into the shadows. She finds Stein bleeding, unable to speak. She begs him to hold on, screaming for help, but it's too late. Sam Stein dies in her arms. Madani returns home shattered. The betrayal, the loss, it's too much. Billy Russo arrives soon after, pretending to console her. She doesn't know he's the one who killed her partner. In a chilling final image, Russo gently helps Madani into the bathtub and begins washing the blood from her body. Tender, almost loving, as if erasing the evidence of what he's done. The camera lingers on Russo's face, cold, detached. The mask of charm is gone, revealing the monster underneath. And that was The Punisher Season 1, Episode 8. This episode rips open Billy Russo's past and reveals the depth of his deceit. It's about a trauma weaponized, a boy who was never loved becoming a man who can't feel. Madani's trust is shattered, Micro's faith in Frank cracks, and Frank himself stands more isolated than ever. By the end, the war has changed and there's no going back. Thanks for watching. If you're enjoying this detailed scene-by-scene breakdowns, make sure to like, share and subscribe and hit the bell, because the story only gets darker from here for The Punisher.